before I forget to, welcome everybody to Live with Prima. My name's Miranda and I'm here with y'all today creating these little cookie cutter ornaments. I wanted to do something pretty simple with something that hopefully we all have around the house. These are really fun to do. I'll show you a few close-ups really quickly. This one has ice resin in it. It's really hard. I mean, it's like glass. So I will do some of them with ice resin today. But I'm using the Victorian Christmas collection from Prima with the matching flowers, wood embellishments, and then a few different elements from my stash, like resins and some mechanicals and stuff. That paper is so pretty. I love that Santa Claus is back there. I try to put him at the top of the tree. But the sides of the ornaments, I did lots of, let me try to get a good angle here. Lots of the art mediums, the micro beads in silver and copper, crackle paste, lots of different things there. This little angel one I really love. Some of them I felt like it was kind of hard to tell what the shape was, so I tried to accentuate it. Michelle, I won't tell anyone. Your secret is safe with us. If anybody else is sneaking on from work, good job. This is the star one, and I went around it with the Dresden. And I went ahead and prepped. I don't think this even showed on the camera, but I did decorate some of the sides. In the photograph on the blog, I don't think that showed. But I did go all the way around with decorations on most of these. But you have one picture to kind of show off every angle, so sometimes you can't really show all the detail. This is my favorite one. It's a snowflake shape, and I just love it. It's really simple. This is super simple for me. I mean, this is just as easy as it gets, and they're really fun, you all. So hopefully I will inspire y'all to create one today. Okay, so those are the ones that are already made. I'm going to set them right here to the side. And I have prepped a lot of mine already, but I am going to show you start to finish how I achieved that look on all of these. Okay, really quickly before I get started, let me give you guys some announcements. Okay, the next show coming up on Thursday, November 19th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. She's making a home decor piece, Miss Adrienne Ford. It's going to make your home look super festive for the holidays. Adrienne is amazing. I'm sure you guys love her work just as much as I do, so make sure to check that out. And then Art Venture Anaheim is almost full. Don't wait to sign up. Don't wait. Sign up today for this exclusive Prima-fied event with 6 amazing instructors, goodie bags beyond your wildest dreams, and more. Go to primamarketinginc.com and click the Art Venture tab for more information. Or you can also email Denny Ruffner for more information too, and his email is Denny, D-E-N-N-Y, at primamarketinginc.com. Okay, so that's all the announcements I have today. So let me grab the paper really quickly. And it's all cut up, so don't be mad at me, y'all. Kind of like really cut into this. I've been doing a bunch of different projects with it, but I love this paper so much. And at first I was going to cover the ornaments on the outside with the paper, but I decided just to go on the inside with it. So before we add any embellishments, you can kind of see I've prepped these. So we're just doing the inside with the paper and the outside with different mediums, but this paper's super gorgeous, y'all. So we're going to be using a couple of the different patterns and like some fussy cut elements. So I wanted to go ahead and give you some of the product numbers before I forget. This piece right here is 990510. Super cool. It's got all the numbers and everything, like Advent style. Really awesome. This one's cut up, so I can't tell you the number until I get to the next sheet. As you can see, I have heavily been using this paper. I'm really in love with it. This one right here is another favorite. That image down there is absolutely adorable. I cannot wait to show you what I did with it. I fussy cut it out and did another project with it. The item number is 990480. Hello, Delana. Hello, everybody. I'm going to try to focus, and if I don't see your name or anything, I apologize ahead of time, y'all. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out, though. This one is really cool. It's got the different pieces you can cut out and use, the postcards and everything. Like I said, I'm sorry that I have cut into mine, but even the back side's amazing. The item number for that one's 990527. I think I used 1 or 2 more. And then we look, this one is probably my favorite one. This image down here is just spectacular. I mean, the imagery on this is just wonderfully vintage. Hello, everybody. Okay, the item number for this one is 990497. And I did get the 12 by 12 papers. Typically I go for the A4 pads because I do altered art. but I do have the 12 by 12s here. So I think that's the only ones I used. Oh, and this one right there. Item number 990503. Again, look at the images down there of the Christmas tree. It's super cool. And then this little image up here with the wreath, and it's got like gold foil on it. So these are really amazing papers, you guys. I'm so in love with them. Okay, so we're going to start from the base of these, and I have a ton of these cookie cutters lying around my house from who knows when. I had a huge drawer full of them. So there's all kinds of different shapes. I've got like, I think that's a snowman too, and a stocking, a little house, everything that you can imagine that represents Christmas time. So what I did is I just went in with my heavy gesso in white, and that item number is 961442, and I went ahead and gessoed all my surfaces. Hopefully you can see it's not perfect by any means. It's very streaky. You're just wanting, I did 2 coats just to cover up all that silver. So I just did 2 coats of that, and then all the color on these are going to come from our crackle pastes and our color bloom sprays. So all I did was add 2 coats of gesso, and I went ahead and did that so that way it could dry and we weren't waiting on everything. Hello everybody, thank you for coming. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go in with some of the gold mica powder. This is the iridescent mica powder, and this is one of my favorites. And we're just going to basically make a little paint out of this. So the item number is 963552, and I always pat the lid because on this one I don't have the little, some of them have the little plastic container where you can just kind of like put a little bit out, but this one doesn't have it. A little plastic lid with the holes in it. This piece doesn't have it, so I'm just going to try to carefully get a little bit out, not too much. Use the end of my feather brush here to get some out. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit on my sheet here, and I'm just going to spray 1 little squirt of water, and that's just going to make this really beautiful gold, not really paint, it's more like a spray, I guess, if you put it in a bottle, because it's really liquidy. But you're just going to go around the whole thing with this, and this is just going to give it this really golden, pretty, I think the camera is actually showing that, hopefully. It just gives it this really pretty base. It looks like the paint turns into like this pearly looking paint, when really it's just gesso with a little bit of this mica powder on top. So it just makes it look really pretty and gives you a nice base to start with. Okay, so hopefully that is showing. Make sure to get the inside too. And I've seen so many beautiful cookie cutter ornaments on Pinterest and stuff. Oh, I just love, love, love them. Anything vintage I love. And I'm all about reusing. So thank you guys for posting the product numbers for me in case I forget to do that. I'm going to try to clean up my mess as I go. So while that is still wet, I'm going to go in with a couple of my color bloom sprays. I'm going to be using the Empress Gold spray, which is just super gold, obviously Empress Gold, but it's a very vintagey color gold, and it's perfect for this paper line, and the item number is 580315. I'm also going to go in with my tea stain one, which is like a light beige kind of golden color, really pretty. The item number is 573836. We're going to be using our gold crackle texture paste. I don't know about y'all, but these I can't get enough of. I'm using these on everything. This one's the gold one, and the item number is 961558. So I prepped all the other ones ahead of time because the gold crackle paste does take a while to dry. So I went ahead and did that on all of them. You've had really big ones, Beth Williams. That's awesome. I'd love, love, love to have some larger size cookie cutters. I was going to go buy some. I was like, well, no, the purpose of this is to reuse, so I just used the ones I had. Okay, so I'm just spraying randomly, not being really particular about it. I don't want to waste, so a lot of times what I'll do is spray it out and then get the rest up on my paintbrush and just kind of paint with it because I don't want to waste the product. So I'm just going for some coverage here, not being too particular. And if you let this air dry, it gets really pretty looking. I don't really have the time to let everything air dry, so I'm just going to kind of breeze through these steps just to show you what I did. But I really did let these dry in between layers before I added the next color, and it created a really cool mottled effect and just variations of color. Hopefully y'all can see that. Oh, and for the darker pieces, I used some alcohol ink in espresso, but I am actually out, so I couldn't do it on these ones. All right, now I'm going to go in with the Empress Gold and just do a couple of little sprays. And again, any of that overspray I'm just going to grab with my paintbrush and go right on the inside of my house with it. And if you get some really cool shapes like this house, and I have a rocking horse, you could get really creative with the embellishments and accentuate those. I have some really cool ideas. But for this, I wanted to keep it really simple and just something everybody could do, kind of like a family craft. Okay, so after that has dried, what I did is go in with the gold crackle paste. And even though this is wet, I'm just going to show you really quickly what I did. I just took a little plastic palette knife. They are cookie cutters. All of these are cookie cutters, and they are metal ones. You could probably use plastic ones too. I don't know. The ones I had were just like a shiny metal, but I'm sure the plastic ones would work too. Sorry if I'm missing your questions. So I'm not putting a super thick coat, but just enough. I mean, if you've used this crackle paste, you know that the heavier you go with it, the better crackle you get, the bigger crackles you get. So I'm just putting a pretty generous amount, but not super thick because I want it to dry. And like I said, you could get really detailed with these. I mean, this is a house, so I can think of 100 ideas to do to really like bring that detail out. But I wanted to keep this simple. I never do simple, so I wanted to just, for once in my life, do a simple project on Live with Prima. Okay, so I'm going to set this one to the side to dry because it's going to take a while, okay? So basically that's where we're at with all of the other ones. The only thing that I have done to these, and it really makes such a difference, y'all, it's crazy. This Frost Color Bloom Spray, I'm obsessed with. The item number is 582890. But what you do with this is just go in, and with these bottles you have the option to do the full spray or just the little splatters, and I can't tell you, I have splatters everywhere if you could see my computer right now, but just to go in and barely splatter this just like that. I mean, this creates such a cool effect on these cookie cutters. I can't even explain it. Let me see if I can get the camera to show. I mean, it really just brings all the colors together and makes it look really old and vintage. So that's what I did with all of them, okay? So these are all ready to go, and I'm gonna set that one to the side to dry, and we can go in with the paper. So to adhere my paper, all I did was take my little ornament. Let me grab a piece of paper really quickly. Whatever shape you have, I just placed it down. If you wanted to incorporate an image, just put it in there and get it how you like. And all I did was take one of my micron pens and just trace the outside of it, okay? When you cut the image out, try to cut outside of the line you drew a little bit because you want a little excess on these. You can always trim it off later, so it's better to go outside of the line than under because you don't want a big gap in the back of your little ornament. So I just cut around my trace line, and then to adhere it down, I'm going to be using the 3D matte gel from the Art Basics line, and the item number is 961398. Oh, Delana's, I wanted to see that frame so bad. Oh man, that was amazing, Delana. That frame was just jaw-dropping. I mean, seriously stunning. It was so pretty. I have yet to alter one of those, and you totally inspired me. I mean, that thing just looked amazing. Okay, so I'm just taking the 3D matte gel, and I am just going around the edges of this. I'm just kind of setting my paintbrush down just like that, all the way around my edges. And don't worry about excess. Try not to get a ton on there, but don't worry about excess because we're going to get that off with a paintbrush. So I'm just tapping all the way around, making sure every little inch has the 3D matte gel on it, okay? So I can actually shut this because after that, we are done with that. Okay. So then I'm going to take my paper, and I'm going to be very careful to line this up just right. And then all you're going to do is put it on there, and then just give it a little push, okay? And then I'm going to go in with one of my smaller paintbrushes, and I'm going to go all the way around the outside because as you can see, we have some excess matte gel seeping out. So I'm just going around my edges and using the paintbrush to get all the excess up. And I have a major cold, y'all, so if you hear me sniffling and my voice not sounding so good, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the excess on the inside. You're gonna get some that kind of seeps to the inside as well. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but like all along there and there, hopefully you can see that there's some excess 3D matte gel. Okay, what I did to kind of cover that and add more interest is I took my micro beads in silver and copper. The copper item number is 962579. And the silver micro beads, the item number is 962562. And I'm just going to take just a little bit and just tap some silver ones in there, and then tap some of the copper ones in there. Just a little bit. Okay? And then I'm just going to kind of swish those around, and what that will do is just attach to that excess matte gel and create some really cool effects going around the inside of our ornaments. And then what I did is, as I did these, I just would take any excess that I had from one ornament and then just kind of dump it right into the next one when it was ready. Okay? And what I did on some of them too is I went in with a little bit of extra matte gel and my little paintbrush, and I went around the edges just a little more with extra matte gel just to add some more micro beads. So I'm going to go around some of my edges here. On the outside of my cookie cutters too, while the crackle paint was drying, I also sprinkled some of the micro beads, and it created really just a subtle little detail. Hopefully my camera will zoom in, but it's just randomly around there, just extra texture there. Okay, so I have the excess in there, and I'm going to put these beads right back in there. Just kind of toss it around. And then on one of these, we're going to add ice resin, and we're going to add a ton of micro beads, and it's going to look really cool. Okay, I'm just using my finger to make sure it's nice and spread out in there. I love the micro beads. It's probably my favorite item from the Finnabair line. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. So we have some extra detail in there, and we also covered up all of that excess gel. Okay, so that is where we're at. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attach some yarn for the ornament to hang on the tree with, because from there we're just going to add some embellishments, some of our wood icons and everything, and do lots of fun things in there. So as you can see, there's going to be some excess paper along the edges here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. It doesn't really bother me, but if it bothers you, after everything is completely dry, you can go in with like a craft knife, the Prima craft tool, and just cut off all that excess. But it's better to have that excess because it really makes your ornament a lot stronger and not so flimsy. Okay, so for the string to hang on, I was going to use different things, but I just ended up using simple yarn, just regular yarn, to make my ornaments hang on the tree. There's lots of fun ideas. You can use tons of cool Prima products to hang these with, but I just decided on yarn. So all I'm doing is taking a little piece, and depending on how you want it to hang, it's totally up to you. But I'm going to go in with my hot glue, my trusty hot glue. I know a lot of y'all don't like it, but I love hot glue. I think I want this one to kind of hang kind of diagonal. So I'm going to just make a little loop with my yarn, and I'm just going to add a little dot of hot glue. And if you think this just looks messy, if you're a perfectionist like I am, usually what I'll do is add a flower back there, something simple just to cover up that. But I mean, that's fine with me. That looks totally okay. And then you've got your hanger for your ornament. So that's all I did to hang them. And I can't wait to put them on my tree. I think I'm going to do all cookie cutter ornaments. Okay, so for these, I did lots of different ideas. I used some mechanicals. I used some of the relics and artifacts. I'm going to show you a fun way to cover these. I think I've shown it on another show, but just in case, I'm going to show you on this one too. And I went in with ice resin on this one as well. Hopefully you can see that really cool glass effect. Okay, so I'm going to grab the chandelier pendants, which I really love. Let me grab the one I'm going to use though. This comes in a pack of 3, and it's the Relics and Artifacts. I love these so much. I tore mine apart and just used the bottom one, but these are really fun. The item number is 941680. So I'm going to go in with my scissors, my trim stuck to them, and I am going to cut right there. And I kind of bend it back, and this is what I'll use. I'll hold on to this piece of metal while I add my micro beads to this. So what I do is I just take that same 3D matte gel. This stuff is my hero. I use this on everything. And I'm just going to coat my entire pendant with the gel. And then we're going to go in with micro beads and just cover it right up. It's like the simplest way to really add some cool texture and kind of bling to these pendants. I really like doing this. And it's really simple. So I am just kind of globbing it on there, and I use that word all the time. I'm just kind of globbing it on there first, but then I'll go in with my paintbrush and just really smooth it out so that everything's nice and defined. You could use glue for this, like a white glue. You could use E6000, whatever you want to use, but I prefer to use the matte gel. It just really spreads easily, and it holds up really well. Okay. So once I have that covered, and it's not completely perfect, but hopefully you guys can see that, I am going to get my micro beads. And I used gold on the other one, so I think I'm going to go with silver this time. And I'm going to use my silver micro beads. I'm actually going to pour them into this. That's going to be my catcher. So I'm just going to take my micro beads and just start covering my pendant. Just kind of moving it around. Okay, and then just kind of tapping off the excess. And then your pendant is completely covered, and it just looks really, really pretty. Once it's dry completely, you can kind of go in with your finger and rub it and get any excess off, and it will really bring out all the details of it, like perfectly. So that is how I did those. And now I'm just going to use my little leaf here to pour my excess micro beads back. Okay. Now we're going to go in and do some of our simpler ones before we get to the ice resin. For the snowman, let's see here. I'm going to be using some of these Victorian Christmas wood icons. These are super pretty. I love these. They're so adorable. The item number for these is 582517. So I'm going to go ahead and take like one of each one out because I want to use every single one of them. I mean, that's already a little ornament, so I'm going to hang that from the bottom of one of them. I really love these, and these have the gold foil again, so you can see how shiny they are. They're super awesome. I love just how everything kind of coordinates together perfectly. You just get it all out, and you don't have to worry about matching anything, and this is my favorite image of all. Super cute. Okay, so I'm going to get those out. I also have some of the tags and tickets, which I plan on incorporating somehow into these. And I also was looking, this is the perfect thing to hang your ornaments with too. So if you have that jute twine right there would work perfectly. And then the lovely flowers from this collection are just amazing. I cannot get enough of these. They're so pretty. The item number for these is 583439, and these are called Christmas Eve. I love these flowers. These are my favorite. I am so in love with these, I can't even explain it. They're just absolutely beautiful. And the item number is 583415. And then these little babies, which are different shapes and colors, I just love it. The item number is 583446, and these are called Rudolph's Nose, which I thought was super adorable. Okay, so for this one, I think we're just going to keep it simple. Let's see which one fits best in here. We're just going to add like one little Santa Claus in there. Let me get something to prop these up onto. That way you guys can see them better. Let's see here. I wonder if that'll work. Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to see how I like this alignment. Pick one of these flowers. I try to use some of the larger ones because these are so pretty. The like ice crystals around the edges. I mean, hopefully you guys can see how sparkly they are. They're really, really pretty. Super gorgeous. So I definitely want to use that in one of these. I think I'm going to go with this one with the music notes. Okay. So some of these you can keep super simple. I'm just going to add one little Santa Claus in there and one little flower and call it a day. And that is all I'm going to do to this one. So it can be super quick, super easy, or you can get really detailed with it, completely up to you. I'm going to use hot glue. And I'm going to push that over towards the left side. Make sure it's good to go, just like that. And then I am just going to add my little flower here. And this has gold glitter all around it, really pretty. So I'm going to add my glue down here in the corner. And then just add my flower in there and kind of tuck it down into that corner. And that is all she wrote for that one. So it can literally be that quick and that easy to make a cute little ornament to hang from your tree. That's the outside of it. Super pretty. Really easy. So that one's done. And that one's kind of like that one. I just added a little wood icon and a flower and called it a day. Okay, so there we go with that one. Let's grab this one, which is like a little reindeer, which I really, really, really love. I wanted to add some of these from the Bloom Girl stamps, the birds. I fussy cut a couple of the flowers and little cherries and items out, so I want to incorporate this to one of these somewhere. And I also fussy cut a couple of the little sentiments. So I'm going to try to incorporate that into one of these, but definitely not Rudolph because he's too small. So I'm going to grab my smaller flower pack, the Rudolph's nose. The wood icons are amazing. I really, really love them with each collection. I usually just dump a bunch of these out, and I have a basket where I keep I'm usually too lazy to put them back in the package, so I have a whole basket of just extra flowers. But I'll try to be nice and neat today. So I just kind of dump a few flowers out. And inside of this one, the Noel, I think will go perfectly. And I also grabbed this beautiful trim over here. I'm going to try to add a piece in the back. This is from the Memory Hardware collection, and it's really, really pretty. I love this trim. And the item number is 991050. For the angel, I added the wings. I cut some of these flowers out on my angel ornament and made her wings with them. I just love this trim. I've got to incorporate this in here somehow, some way. So I think I'm just going to kind of just push it down in there. Just create some flow with that lace, just some added detail. I'm going to just add a couple of spots of glue. I just kind of want this flowing around in there with some movement. This lace is just so pretty and sparkly. I have to use it in some way. And then I wonder if I could tuck one of the little birds in there. Probably not. Let me see here. I also fussy cut a few of the little stocking elements out. Really cute from the paper line. This little cart with a letter on it. Super cute. I stamped the flowers from the bird set, and I could use those coming out. Let's see here. I think I will. I think we'll do that flower there and the Noel inside of there. Yep, that's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to cut a little bit off of this. I don't want to dupe these exactly. I just kind of want to show you that you can do pretty much anything you want with these. I'm using the same supplies, but you can really just kind of change it up to suit what you like. So just put a little bit of hot glue, and that lace is just kind of popping that flower up perfectly for me. I could always go in and like make a tail with string or flowers, or you can really get detailed with this. And then I'm just going to add the little Noel piece, and these are brown around the edge, which I love. You don't even have to ink them or anything. They're good to go. So I am just going to situate this how I want. And then put my little Noel in there. And I want the flower to pop out, so I'm kind of pulling it out from under the wood icon. Okay, so it looks just like that. Okay, you can go in, I always keep little spare containers with like little bits and pieces from the Junkyard Findings collection and stuff, and I love to just kind of randomly add these. I think this little guy would make a cute little tail there. Yep, I'm going to add that right there as a little tail. Let me get some more glue sticks. I'll be right back. Okay, and even though this is metal, it is primed and painted, so the glue will stick to it fairly well. But if you want to make sure it's not going anywhere, you can use, you know, a heavier glue or the matte gel. I'm just going to put a dot of hot glue and add my little Junkyard Finding right there just to make a little tail. And there we go. That one is super simple too. So that's all she wrote for that one. We'll do one more simple one, and then I'm going to get out the ice resin and do some cool stuff with it. I'm going to put that one to the side. I want to use some of these birds, so let me find a larger one, like the gingerbread man or the rocking horse. I love this rocking horse. Okay, so I have this rocking horse shape, and it's kind of hard to tell what it is, but it's a rocking horse. Okay. So I want to incorporate this cute little bird stamp, and I just stamped it onto 2 different pieces of paper from the Victorian Christmas collection, and then just added the feathers in a different piece of paper. Okay, so I am just going to, that one's probably too big too. Let me find a little bird. I'm having issues here. Okay, but that one blends in with the background. I'm so having issues. I think I'm going to do it on the gingerbread man. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to add a little flower down here, my favorite one, this cream one. And I'm just going to go right there on the edge with it. So I'm going to add my hot glue to the back of this. If I was shipping these ornaments out to someone or gifting them, I'd definitely use a better glue. When I'm making things for my home, I guess I feel like I can go in and fix it if I need to, so I just use hot glue. But you can definitely use a better adhesive. Alright, so I'm just putting that right there on the corner. I'm going to add these little cherries that are from that stamp set, and I'm just going to kind of have it coming out of the side here. And then I think I'm going to use the Dresden trim on this one like I did on the star, just to add a really pretty touch. Okay. Which wooden icon do we want to use in here? Let's see. Maybe the Merry Christmas one. We could kind of have it, yeah, we can kind of have it coming out, and then the little birdie like that. Yep, I'm feeling it. That's what we're going with, y'all. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the bottom here, and just tuck our little birdie right there. So everything's really dimensional in this one. It's popping out of the gingerbread man. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Let me decide which sentiment to use. Hopefully you guys can see that. Oh, thank you. It really is easy, you all. I promise you. You can see I'm not even spending hardly any time thinking. I'm just grabbing my stuff and going. If you have this collection and all of these matching embellishments, you're good to go. I mean, you can use anything you have on hand, but I might use that one. Yep, I think I'm going to use this little fussy cut sentiment instead of the wood icon. So just play with your stuff, you guys. Doesn't take a lot to create really cute little ornaments. So that is all for that one. Now for the last two, we're going to go in and do some more detailed designs. Just kind of do a little more funky of a look. Getting our ice resin out. I'm going to push this stuff to the side really quickly. So on this one, you can see I did the ice resin and I added tons of micro beads and just took out little elements. So for the leaf here, that's what we're going to do. Okay, it's going to be hanging like this. So what I did first was I glued in my elements how I wanted them to be. And I do want that Merry Christmas in there. So I'm just going to glue that in there really quickly. And the way I'm going to have this hanging is kind of diagonal, so don't think I'm crazy when I'm doing things like that, because that's kind of going to hang sideways. Okay, so I'm gluing that down. Let's see here, what else do I want to add to it? Got my little goodie jar here full of Prima goodness. These metal elements would be perfect for it. Let's see. One of the little clocks would actually look really pretty in there. I'm going to cut it in half real quick. I did use a clock on the other one, so just to keep it cohesive, I'm going to use a clock piece on this one. And you don't even have to use glue on this if you're going to use the ice resin. You can just set it all in there how you want it, and then the ice resin will make everything stay. Okay, let's see here. I haven't tried adding a flower with the ice resin, so I think I will add one little flower down there, and then I'll add the beads. Okay, so that's super simple so far, you guys. Just adding a little clock, a little flower, kind of going off of this one. Okay, you could add the Dresden trim, and the item number for that is 942441. I love, love, love this Dresden trim. And on this star one, I just added it around the outside of it. And it is a little time consuming making sure you're getting it on there perfectly, but this is like really metallic and it bends very easily, so it would look really good to go around the edges of this with that Dresden trim, which we'll do in just a second. For now, let's add a few more embellishments in there. Let's see. Maybe one more flower. Yep, let's add a little green one in there. Okay. And then we're going to mix our ice resin. Okay, let me grab my ice resin really quickly. Where did I put it? Can't figure out where I put it at. Okay, here we go. And I just got this stuff at my local craft store, Michael's. Actually, this isn't even ice resin. All I'm saying it's ice resin. It's just Easy Cast. That's the brand. And it's just a 2-part resin, and it looks really, really cool with these. And it really does some cool effects with the micro beads. So I'm going to take some more of those copper micro beads. And I'm just like pouring them in there like crazy, because it just looks really cool. And some of the silver ones. And however it looks right now, that's how it's going to look after the resin's in there. So you just kind of want to shake it around. So I've got like complete coverage right now. I don't want to move it too much or the beads will fall. And that's what I like. I kind of want those flowers to be submerged too. I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay, now I'm just going to mix my resin together. And I'm going to use, let's see here. I'm just going to use this container, even though I'm only doing a little bit. I'm going to use, actually, found the perfect thing. Okay, so I'm just going to measure with the cap of this. This is just really cool for adding extra detail. You can throw pearls in there. The memory hardware pearls would look awesome with this. So I'm just adding a cap full of the hardener. And then a cap full of the resin. I'm not doing any precise measuring here. Just a capful. And this stuff is so cool, y'all. I really, really, really love it. It looks awesome on top of just the paper alone. It looks really, really cool. All right, I'm going to take one of my paint brushes here and just stir this up really well. Critical. It's really easy, y'all. If you've used any of these resins before, it's so simple. It's just 2 parts. You measure it out equally, and then you just stir it together. That is it. And I usually make sure it's stirred really well. It'll get kind of cloudy for a second, and then as soon as it's kind of clear again, that's when it's good to go. So I am just stirring it up. And this was the first time I had used it, and I just loved the way it looked on these ornaments with the paper and the micro beads. It just looked really cool. Alright, so I'm just stirring it up really good. If you think it's done, stir it one more time, just to make sure. Okay. And then I'm just going to pour it in here, you guys. Just kind of going over equally at first. as it kind of sits, it will seep into all the areas it needs to. So it will kind of do the work for you, but you can go ahead and kind of evenly pour it. I want those flowers to be covered good. I might have to mix a little more because I do want those flowers completely covered. I don't want the petals to be poking out. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see in there now, it's like completely liquidy. I'm going to kind of move my ornament around because I can hear some shaking going on, which means some areas aren't covered. Okay, so I'm just moving the liquid back and forth, and you can already see what it's going to look like. It just gives it this really glass-like appearance, and it looks super cool. I'm going to use my paintbrush tip just to make sure my flowers are covered, because it adds just such a cool effect to the paper and the flowers. So we need a little bit back here in this corner. And it is good to go. Okay, so I'm going to let that one sit. This literally takes overnight. It takes quite a while to dry, but like I said, the end result is really worth it. You can see that one has the clock in there. That one doesn't have a ton of the beads, but you can see how cool it makes the paper look. Really, really cool. And then this one has a lot of the beads, so it just looks awesome. I even put some of the pearls in there, some different metal embellishments, so it looks really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go around and do some Dresden trim around the edge of this one. We're just going to keep getting fancier with it. It gets really heavy too with that resin in there. Okay, so I'm going to take my trim and I'm going to cut little pieces because it's easier for me to do like glue one little piece and then one after the other instead of trying to do one continual piece. It's just easier for me that way. So I'm just going to cut a few little pieces. This is great for using your scraps too. I had a ton of scrap Dresden trim and I used almost all of it on the star. Okay, so we're going to start with that. And again, I am going to use my 3D matte gel. And what I'm going to do ahead of time is I kind of just start bending my Dresden trim into the shape that I need it to be. Yep, there's ice resin, there's easy cast resin, there are a couple of different brands. It's just a 2-part resin. You just mix them together and get a really cool effect. It looks really cool on top of the micro beads and the paper. Okay, let me move some of this out of the way. I've got quite the mess going on here. So I'm going to use the 3D matte gel again to adhere my Dresden. And like I said, this does get a little time consuming because you want to make sure it's perfect, but I'm just going on the edges again, just like I did with the paper, just like that. And I'm just going to add my Dresden. And I might not sit here and do the whole thing because it's going to take me a little while. But I just adhere it first, and then I cut the excess off. I'm going to hold it in place for just a second. And after it dries, you can really bend that Dresden up and kind of form it the way you want it to be. Because it does have that metal feel like this. Once it's completely dry, you can really bend it upward, kind of move it around how you want it to be. But for now, we're not going to mess with it. We're just going to let it stay glued. But we're going to go in and cut it the way it needs to be. Oh no! Come out of there, little piece. Okay, I saved it. So we've got one little section done with the Dresden. Now we're going to do another one. And just take the time to make sure it's going to line up correctly with the piece before. It's pretty easy to do. And I just lost my paintbrush. Where did it go? I'm losing my mind today, y'all. Okay, let's grab another one because that one disappeared. Alright. Oh, and I should have got the item number for these Spin and Bear paintbrushes. It's all I use anymore, so I never think to get the item number out. These are definitely my favorite paintbrushes, and I'm not just saying that. They are amazing. I love them. Okay, so I'm going to go in on the next section and just just do the same thing. Just hold it in place for a second. That's a really good idea. Chipboard would be great for the back of it. On the ice resin ones, they get firm enough to kind of stand alone. It's like, let me show you the back of this one. It becomes like, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's literally becomes like wood. So the ice resin just creates this really firm, this isn't going anywhere. But on the other ones, yes, if you're embellishing it heavily, that would be a pretty good idea to go ahead and use chipboard too. The jewelry department is where the resin's at. Sorry, I just saw that. The jewelry department. At my Michael's, it's in the jewelry department. Go figure. It's not with like the glues or the other mediums, it's in with jewelry. I know you can order some online. Sorry, y'all. I know I probably should have thought that maybe not everybody has access to it, but you can get it in the jewelry department at Michael's. I think Hobby Lobby has it there too. Or you can just order it online. I've had this for forever and never used it, so I mean, it's not necessary. You don't have to use it, but if you want to play with something different and add a little more jazz to your pieces, you can use it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue one more piece just so you can get the effect, and then we'll move on to our last ornament, which is the rocking horse. All right, and I'm just kind of shaping these as I go. I just want it to look nice and cohesive. Okay. I wish that I could show you what this piece is going to look like on those flowers when it dries, because the day that I did the ornaments with this ice resin, I went crazy and used it on a ton of stuff, and it looks amazing on the Prima flowers. Really amazing. It just gives them this glass-like appearance, which is super cool. Oh my gosh, Robbie, is that where it was? That is so funny. I'm looking for my paintbrush everywhere, and just black on black, it just disappeared on me. That is so funny. It's like it's right there. That's funny. Glad I could make you giggle. Okay, so that is what it's going to look like. You can keep going all the way around, and I just think that Dresden trim really looks cool on these ornaments. Just kind of brings out that paper. So there is this one, and it's going to kind of hang like that. It'll probably get all lopsided in my tree, and I'll have to like bend a branch to make it stay, but that is how I want it to hang in my tree. Okay, so there's that one. And you do have to let this sit completely flat when this resin's drying, because it will just get like, you know, really thick in one area and thin in the other. So just let it dry completely flat. So you can imagine if I went all the way around with the Dresden, it would end up like that. But we are running low on time, so we're going to set that one to the side. And we're going to work on our very last one. And I had intended on using ice resin on it too, but I think for time, I'm just going to skip it. And let's look at these and see if there's any technique that I have left out that I need to go over. If not, we will just find a way to decorate it. Let's see here. No, I think I've pretty much covered every technique that I did on the other ones, except hanging things from it. So that's what we'll do with this one. Oh, I just knocked off my beads on my pendant. Darn, Miranda, good job. So, let me see if that's dry enough to get that off of there. I can't believe I just did that. Totally just grabbed it and knocked off half the beads. Okay, so we will hang our pendants from that one. Alright, so let's go in with some of our fussy cut images, like this stocking. Let's see if that'll work in there. Yep, that's going to work well. So we're going to add that in there, and a bunch of flowers. Let's just go crazy with the little flowers here, which I love so much, and maybe some of the fussy cut ones. And then we'll just hang a couple of items from the bottom. Okay, this ornament is great, obviously, for hanging. It's just already an ornament. So let's just go in with this little stocking piece, which I fussy cut out of the paper line. And I love that this paper does have items that you can fussy cut, because that is just an extra embellishment that you don't have to use from your stash because it's already there for you. Alright, so I'm just using hot glue, and what I did there is I kind of just made like a pop dot. I used a lot of hot glue, and I'm just kind of holding it up so that it won't dry flat. And that's just what I do when I don't see my pop dots anywhere and I'm being lazy. I just use the hot glue to do it. So hopefully you guys can see that that's definitely popped up, and all I did was use hot glue. Okay, so that's what I do when I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to look for my foam squares. Okay, so I'm going to add that in there. Let's see, what else do I want to add? A bunch of these little flowers because they are just so incredibly pretty. So I'm just going to work on layering a few different ones, and then we're going to hang the little pendant from the bottom of it. Maybe a few other things will dangle down from the rocking horse. It'd be really cool to get super elaborate with these, and maybe I will for another project. Just really go to town and bring out the rocking horse shape, but I've never done anything that I felt was really simple on here, so I wanted to this time. And then after that glue's dried, I'm just kind of popping up the edges there a little more. Alright, I'm going to have one of these pretty little flowers. That's from the Bloom Bird stamp set too. I love stamping these flowers onto the paper, and this one is that stamp right there. That's my favorite part, is just stamping these and then cutting them out. They look so super cute, especially if you, I threw that one at y'all. If you layer the papers, it looks really cool. I really love these stamps, they're so cute. Working on gifts for the holidays. Yes, I am. I don't know about y'all, but I am definitely working on gifts for the holidays already. Everybody, I'm sure you guys can relate. When you're a crafter, it's like everybody expects something handmade. So I kind of have a lot to do. It's like people get offended if you give them a store-bought card. You know, they're like, wait, you didn't make me a card? And they get mad at me. So I'm just adding some elements. I'll kind of show you as I go. I'm just adding a few little elements in there. Yeah, people get offended with me if I don't make them. They're Christmas cards. And it's really funny. I know I've said this story like a million times, but in case y'all haven't heard it, the very first year I started crafting, I made everybody in Chris's family a card, and I mailed it to them. And I was using at that time, I mean, I had no idea what Prima was or anything of the sort. I was using like wrapping paper and, oh gosh, that curling ribbon, just stuff like that. And everybody always laughs. They said I bedazzled them because I don't know where I got these really huge rhinestones from. Anyway, these cards are really awful. So now every year when we go up for Christmas, they are out being displayed. And it's so embarrassing. I'm like, gosh, I can't believe that I made that. And like, they love them. They keep them out on display. But it's embarrassing for me to see them. And we always get such a kick out of it. So I can kind of see my progression in scrapbooking by looking at the Christmas cards over the years. But I'm going to get a picture this year and snap it and show y'all. You will get such a kick out of it. Okay, so I want to make sure that my little fussy cut stocking is still being showcased and none of the flowers are taking over. So I'm going to kind of curl up the petals. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take one of these La Rochelle trinkets and dangle it from the bottom. Actually, what if we dangled it inside? That would be kind of cool. We're going to dangle that on the inside, just because I feel like it. Okay, let me grab my yarn. Just for something different. And then I'm going to hang my little pendant on the bottom of it. Now, on the ornaments, it was really hard to get my thread through my pendant, so I just glued it onto the back. Like I said, these are hanging on my tree, so I can kind of take shortcuts with them. But if you're going to get these out, I'd definitely use like a thread that you can put through the hole there. But for me, I am just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of it and hang it that way. But definitely, if you're going to be sending these to someone, don't do that, because we want it to be nice and pretty for them. Or you can always do the Miranda cheat, and anywhere I have like a glob of hot glue, I put a flower on it, and that's my solution, just to cover everything up. Okay, a lot of my beads are falling off because I'm touching it before it's dry. So when you do that technique, definitely wait on this to dry. But hopefully you can see the other side, how pretty it starts to look. You can go in with alcohol ink now, and it will cover up your mistakes, and it just creates a really cool effect. But definitely wait on it to dry. Alright, let me get another piece of yarn, And I love keeping these little trinket things here, trinket jars of extra Prima goodies. I have some chain here from the Memory Hardware line, one of these beautiful pieces. Let's see here. Let's see what I want to add. Just a lot of really cool stuff. I might tuck this down in there. I don't know. Anyway, you can kind of go crazy with the embellishments. Prima makes a ton of things that coordinate perfectly. I am going to lace this one up though, or thread it up. Okay, just like that. I'm going to hang it right there. My fingers are immune to hot glue, but if you aren't like me, definitely use like the matte gel or something else to hang that with. I like things that have movement to them, so now that makes me happy because it just kind of, and I can't show you without tilting it downward, but it definitely, you know, just kind of swings in there now, and that makes me happy. I love when things are like moving and active. Okay, so I'm going to hang that there, and then I want my little pendant hanging, I guess from this side, and then I'll hang this from there. Yep. Sorry, I'm talking to myself, y'all. I really hope you guys give these a try. They're so super easy to do, y'all. I mean, clearly I'm not doing anything hard here. It's just grabbing your supplies and placing them how you like it. It's really, really easy. So even though I'm lacing that through, I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on it too, just to make sure it stays. And these come with the alphabet stickers, so you can put like your initials on there, which I will do in a second. So now I'm just going to add a spot of glue and attach my pendant. And definitely on the back of this, I would add some flowers or something. And it's really easy to do that. You can even decorate the back, because if this is going to like swing around on your tree, you know, you're going to want all sides to be covered. So you could take one of your little ornament pieces and just kind of decorate the back of it. That way every side is covered in case it turns around. And this is kind of a busy pattern back here, but I'll show you in just a second. I'm just going to kind of add a little flower cluster. And I'm going to add my other embellishment. I'm going to make it shorter than the other one. Okay. And I'm going to add one more bigger flower, just like that. And that will cover up all of your little strings and just kind of add some more decoration to the back of it. That way if it's spinning around on your tree, you don't have to worry about the back looking ugly. Usually I set ornaments up in my tree so that they don't move, but that way if it spins around, you're still covered. Okay, so let's see if I can get this to hold the right way, and of course I can't. Alright, so I've just dangled these down from there. I love to have hanging elements. So that is pretty much it. Let me grab the alphabet stickers really quickly. Alright, these are the metal trinkets from the Timeless Memories, and they come with these alphabet stickers. The item number is 579845, and it's so ornate. They're just really, really pretty. So I'm going to add a M for Miranda, and then I could do like a C on one of them for Chris, but they are already already have a sticky back to them. So you just push it down in there, and you're good to go. So you can do like little initials for everybody in your family. Okay, so that is pretty much it, y'all. I know I had a huge mess going on here. Let me push all this off so hopefully you guys can see everything. I covered all the techniques I did, even though we kind of did it differently. Just because each cookie cutter obviously is going to be a different shape, so you're going to have to kind of do different designs. On the little bell here, this was supposed to be my little, you know, the thing that makes it ring on the inside of it. Okay, yeah, decorating the back of it's definitely a good idea. That way, you know, you're covered. If that thing is swinging around and you want to show off your tree, you don't have to worry about a plain back like that showing. I mean, although that doesn't look terrible, you know, it still looks cuter if you have some embellishments on the back. So definitely do both sides if you are picky like that and you just want it to look, or not even just picky, you just want it to be nice and pretty. Add your yarn to make them all hang, or any other elements you want, like I did on the Christmas tree and all the other ones. But anyway, I hope you guys like these. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I did on the ones either that were on the blog or the ones we created today? I think that's all of them. Let me make sure I got them all in frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Alright, so there are our cookie cutter ornaments. The resin is still not dry, but I just love the resin, y'all. It's so super pretty. Alright, does anybody have any questions? Hello, Sharon. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad you guys liked them. And I got done in an hour. It's a miracle. Yay! Finally. So definitely break out your cookie cutters, y'all. I would love, love, love to see your take on them. If you can get some of the larger ones, those would be awesome. You could make like a little shadow box set, and it would just be super cool. Okay, so these are the ones we created tonight, or today. I'm so used to doing a nighttime show. Anybody has any questions, let me know. If not, I hope that you guys had a lovely day. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I hope you guys are geared up and ready for Christmas. I have some more ornaments that'll be on the blog in a couple days, but I've just been on like an ornament extravaganza. They're so fun to make. I really, really love it. This Christmas line by Prima is just to die for. So definitely get your hands on the Victorian Christmas line and all the embellishments that go with it. Alright, everybody have a beautiful day. I know, Michelle, I've never got done within an hour. I am so proud. I was like, I am going to do a simple project for once that I can get done in an hour. So I finally did it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I really, really, really appreciate it. Carrie, you have to be proud of me too. I got done in an hour. Alright, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. And I would love to see your take on them. Make sure you post on the Prima Facebook page. I love to go on there and see what everybody made. Such an inspiring place on the Facebook page to go and see what everybody's doing with Prima products. So have a lovely day, everyone. I'm going to hit stop record now. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Carrie, Delana, Sharon, everybody for modding and helping me out. Goodbye. Thanks.